Let's turn this up a little bit. All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. This is Vinny's Talk. We are here on this October day. We are talking about the Kiely Rodni case. If you guys are just joining the podcast, I want to welcome you guys to this very blessed podcast, man. This is the True Crime Talk here, and we're going to be just discussing the case a little bit, man. If you guys could subscribe to all my videos, hit that like button. Today we're going to be going over some of the things that I've been wanting to go over the last couple days. I haven't been on, but anyways, there's a lot of things that have been going on, and I believe that we are that we're not hearing about. We're not hearing about it through law enforcement. Like I said, everything that happened with this case, no one was talking, right? We didn't hear anything from people that were at this party. We know that Sammy Smith was lying through her teeth, or though hell, it sure seems like it. The way that law enforcement handled this case seems like they didn't really do a really fantastic job at all, especially with how Adventures with a Purpose had found her. And supposedly that, law enforcement put in all these man hours just to find out that, law enforcement couldn't find her and Adventures with a Purpose had to find her. But anyways, the way that they gave it off to Ellie, right? Law enforcement. And for them to go into this Prosser reservoir and how they came about finding the Kiely's car, I just really think they should have handled it a lot differently. There's no way that a law enforcement group like themselves, the FBI, whatever the case may be, would actually take the vehicle and just bring it up like that and turn it and all this other stuff without handling it the proper way. Like maybe putting a net on the side of the windows, right? Putting something there so it would catch any evidence from slipping out. These are the things that really, get me going, get me thinking, what were they doing? Did they really know? Was all this just written in a trucky way to protect themselves? Because obviously we know that Adventures with a Purpose is not probably going to come out and show their video now because they signed an agreement, or God knows what they did. These are just my opinions, guys, and my thoughts, right? But like I said, I really don't know, as far as what they were thinking. How they handled it was by far the most poorest job that they ever could do. And I really believe that if it wasn't for ADP, that maybe none of this would have been found. Kiely still would have been, her car still would have been underneath the water, and as well as with her. We look at, the toxicology report and how there is no water found in her lungs, right? So for a drowning by accident, for it to be a drowning by accident, you would think that there would be water in the lungs, right? And for her lungs to weigh a certain weight, you know what I mean? Which they were normal weighed at a normal weight for her size, didn't seem to be that there was water in her lungs, which gives me a reasonable doubt saying that this girl was already passed by the time she got to the water. So she wasn't alive when she went into the water. So who might have put her there, right? We don't know these answers. These are the answers that we deserve. And this is why the public is very upset. And I believe Chucky and I believe the law enforcement knows something, but they don't want to release it, right? They don't want to say we're not hearing anything. So we want justice for Kiely. And there's a lot of things that are going on in Truckee, the Truckee way, right? As they may call it, the Truckee way. I don't believe in that shit, man. I believe there's some foul ass shit going on in that county, or whatever you want to call it, that town. Why were they doing these things? Why did they release the trail cams? I'm sorry, not the trail cams, the tree cams, or whatever you want to call it. And then right after they released these videos for everyone to see on YouTube, they release the findings that her death was ruled an accident by drowning. These are the questions we have, the questions and concerns we have. Why did Sammy Smith say, I was with Kiely all night and I was the last person to talk to her, but she was too inebriated to drive me home. She was too drunk to drive me home, so I have found a ride home from somebody else. Who drove Sammy Smith home? I think Sammy Smith, she knows more than she's telling us, guys, right? I believe personally some shit went down with Sammy, and you know, they're not talking, right? They're not going to talk, and Sammy's not going to talk, but there was a lot of people at this party. Supposedly there was a mass exit. Kiely Rodni arrived with her friends, and was it really Kiely that really wanted to stay? No, it was Sammy Smith that wanted to stay at the party. As Sammy Smith and Kiely were going to the bathroom together, they were drinking together, they were sharing drinks together, mind you. But yet, Sammy Smith has no idea what happened to Kiely. Because she says, no longer do I want to have someone drive me home that's been drinking. Now, isn't that very sketchy behavior from a friend that you just arrived to a party with? And, you know, Kiely had other friends there like Magdalene or Mags or whatever. She only came for 10 minutes. That's the part that I don't get. She only came for 10 minutes, and after the 10 minutes, she left. There was other people there that said to see Kiely, Mrs. Kiely Rodni. There was other people there that said they seen Kiely a drunk. She was slurring her words. She was falling all over the place. But yet, we look at the toxicology report and the autopsy, and it says that there was no water in the lungs. There was no... I mean, the only obvious that it's shown that it had is THC in her report. It did show that she had some alcohol, but the levels were not all that responded. Like, they weren't all that great. So was that just a level of because she was her body levels just because she was decomposing? But we now know that these are just the levels. We now know that there is a lot of people that were at this party that were lying. Because if that's the case, this shit is not adding up, right? That her death was already passed by the time she got in the water. So how can this be an accident? This is the thing. This is the questions that we have to the Truckee community, to the Tahoe, to the Prosser, you know what I'm saying, to Placer County, Nevada Sheriff's County. These are the questions we have for y'all, and y'all fucked up, man. I'm sorry for the swearing, but these are just the God honest truth. I believe it's a big ass cover up. As far as I'm concerned, why would they tell Adventures with a Purpose not to go that far into the water? Only search that far by the water, because they already knew, right? They already knew where to go. They already knew not to. They didn't want people to know these things, right? But like I said, whatever's in the dark will always come to the light. That's why I'm on here, man, raising awareness, justice for Kiely. Every day I think about this. I'm like, man, I gotta make a video. I gotta recap. Besides doing my podcast, Vinny's Talk, this is my true crime, Vinny's Talk, for Kiely Rodni. Also, justice for Gabby Petito, man. We will find justice for her as well as Kiely Rodni. But there's just so many questions, and we need the correct answers from law enforcement. Why won't they tell us certain things? Because they are covering this up. And some people may say that, oh, this is not foul play. What are your evidence to think that this is foul play? I mean, this is fucking ridiculous, guys. Like, you can't seem to fucking tell me that you find someone in the back of the hatch of their vehicle underneath the fucking bottom of the car, and somehow law enforcement is able to get the car out of the water somehow, right? And lay all of the rest of the contents that were in the car all over the sea floor, right? Without even protecting evidence that was in the car. These are the problems I have with law enforcement. Why were they handling this with recklessness? They weren't treating this case like an investigation should be treated. From the start, I feel like they messed up. And let's talk a little bit about forensics. Let's talk about how, what they found in her stomach. The findings of the low levels of alcohol, right? The low levels of THC. Did they test for hallucinogens? Did they test for IE? Did they test? No. They did test for certain things, right? Ethanol. They said they found alcohol, right? Was it a lot? No. Why do these people continue to lie to the people? Because you know what? The truth will always, reveal itself, y'all. I might take time, but it will reveal itself. And the real people out there, the true crime community, no matter if it's YouTubers or people that are just passionate about this, you know what I'm saying? Truth will always come out. The forensic side doesn't add up. There's a lot of things that don't add up. The way they handled this investigation from the start. Going into the water, not protecting the evidence. Seems like a mass cover up to me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Need a little drink of water here. They have botched this case, man. And, Kiely doesn't deserve this. She deserves justice. The truth will be, I feel like someone knows something and eventually something will come out of it. As I'm learning, watching other YouTubers out there learning, watching, the doctors and stuff like that are coming on the shows. And it's really good to hear that. How they identified Kiely. By a detective, by facial recognition, by looking at her face. This is Kiely. No, this is not how you identify someone. I'm sorry, but I am not, in that practice where I could tell you, but I know for a fact because I did research and I know that when you identify someone either through fingerprint, correct? Or through dental records or bone marrow. Just like they did with Brian Laundrie. They got ate by alligators, right? So these are just my opinions now. I'm just saying, but like they identified him by dental records. So you go into someone's teeth, you pull their tooth, you know what I'm saying? You identify them, you do all types of x-rays and whatever they do for, I don't know what they do for that, but I'm just saying, like dental records, you pull up someone's records of their dental and boom, if they have it right there, that's how they identify you. But the reason why I think this is very just misconduct, dude. Ask any law enforcement group and they will tell you that. This is the Truckee way, right? Not very smart. Why weren't there sheriffs? Why wasn't the Placer County sheriffs down there? Why weren't the fucking Tahoe Rangers down there at that, that very night? Securing that area. Why wasn't there people that were patrolling? There was no patrols out there. Was there rangers out there? We knew about these cameras in the trees that were protecting for the fires and whatnot, but we didn't learn about like all this other stuff about that's one thing that really blew my mind away, especially with not having this information. They didn't have this information. Maybe, but I feel like they knew all along, y'all. You know what I'm saying? They knew all along. But anyways, man, I just wanted to hop on here, talk for a few minutes on, just for justice for Kiely, because this is important that we put this out there and we keep talking about it. And there's a lot of mishaps and there's a lot of things that are going on that are just really fishy, and I feel like it's it seems like they're not, no one, but I don't know. I feel like someone's going to come forth, man, eventually. Maybe not at this moment, but, you know, it might take some time. But they have to live with this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just sit there, like, you know, eats away at your heart type shit because you're thinking about it. This is sad, right? But we want justice for Kiely. We want peace out there. You know what I'm saying, y'all? And thank you guys for joining today and for just for a few minutes and listening to me, right? But yeah, I mean, this is important to me, and I really believe that justice will prevail. It might take some time, but it will happen. But thank you guys today for joining, and until the next time, guys, peace out, man. Justice for Kiely. All right, peace.